and one of them is my favorite teams winning off spawn. So as you head into some of these spawn battles, a lot of them in the first game didn't go how we expected, right? You look at maybe the Joneses. A lot of people thought Savin and Jackpo would be able to win that one off spawn. You look at Sign Up Station, a team who's literally sitting in first place right now. Flixie and Kilo, a lot of people, including us, literally in that game said, Ziandi, Joe, it's a watch. They're going to win that every single time. And it didn't go that way, right? So we're already seeing huge things go against the curve, against the grain. But again, at Command Cavern, some of the biggest names will continue to land here. Pink and Anas sitting in 9th place at the moment. We'll be very much looking to better that.
Immediate drop, but I see 3 different players kind of rolling in right here, so I'm not sure exactly what's breaking down right off spawn. If there's immediate changes immediately.
We're already seeing Sign Up Station 50-50 this time. And Flixie and Kiduo, oh my goodness.
No way.
Gas comes through, but no. Ziandi wins it. So already, the game 1 winners, we talked about whether or not they'd be able to repeat their success off spawn. This time, a much quicker fight and one that they were not able to prevail in.
This happens in some types of like finals or high stakes set lobbies. It's all about some of these teams that kind of roll in, have this first game big impact, but they never stay.
And again, another fight we expected to see and one we're finally seeing now. Bubak and Fury, a team who we wondered whether they would be at the Joneses winning off spawn. This time round, they are, and they take down Savin and Yakpo. So again, 2 games in a row for Savin and Yakpo going down early. That's very, very hard on the mental.
So these are like, what, coin flip finals. We need to get Zeke out here to start casting them, right? Like, it's straight up just back and forth when it comes to, you know, who's gonna win off of spawn. Sometimes it's heads on one side, other side, Thomas has to tuck his tail and run.
Look, if there's anyone I want to flip a coin for me, I want it to be Zeke. So I'm all good. Get him out here.
Oh man, right now Tripper fully taken out. Definitive changes over at Command Cavern. I think that first game, it was over, was allowed to just play. Mustache Malabuka and Austin Pink taken out immediately. They do not want any of that smoke in this game. Right now, Thomas HD up against a team that has a knock as well. What's going on here with them is Belusi and Hydro, who were taken down off spawn by Shizo, I believe, but somehow they're surviving. Timber says Thomas, but doesn't find the knock with the wood.
There's so much going on all around the map. Of course, we have Thomas here in a dire situation without Trippin, but we, of course, another fight towards Command, Malabuka Mustache taking out Pink and Anas in the feed. I believe I saw O'Reilly and Vidil winning against Flois and Mappy as well. So many things happening all around the map. We're seeing a lot of the reverse of some of the things we saw in game 1. So instantly, game 2, a much different complexion to what we will see in game 1. And for a team that literally won it, they have a massive, you know, covert cavern type mountain to climb.
I'm scared for the rest of the lobby and endgame right now. A lot of that action that we saw was low ground teams just trying to survive. You put Mustache and Malabuka angry off of game 1, winning off spawn in game 2, straight into the mix. That looks really, really different.
Yeah, and we have a North zone this game as well, right? We talked and we saw all the impact, right, of a South zone last game. A lot of those teams were able to find better positions for Surge, and it helped them a long way without having to worry about all that stuff.
Talk about win conditions, talk about legendary duos. Got to bring up Hen and Queasy. Difficulties in game 1. This time, a home zone 11. This is the best zone I feel like Sleepy can ever get. Are they awake, though, in these sounds?
They're going to have to be. They're going to have to be. If not, I can tell you last game was a massive shock for them. Going down the way they did, going down like that for Mappy will be huge. So these are all the updates. We're getting them as you go around the map here. Over towards Tilted Towers. A big surprise here between the Tilted teams fighting Artsco and T-Chips, DKS and Bad Sniper. Many expected them to stay harmonious, right? 2 French teams. You know, we'll leave you guys alone if you leave us alone. But no, battling it out. And Vino needs to be careful. You can't afford to get caught out here in a command fight. Has to stop, use some shields. But the action is never ending.
There's 2 different timers now on Cavern, usually an unlimited one for these teams to be able to just loot up off spawn and leave whenever they want to. We mentioned and talked about it a bit last game. So many heals here, right? The second timer now, though, with Command Cavern kind of being in zone, there will be many teams rolling in, trying to maybe get a little bit more free loot, maybe get some surge knowing that teams are staying inside. Everyone here has to be focused on how long they want to stay in here and the risk factor for extra teams past just the 10 that land here invading their personal privacy.
Yeah, I think the big thing with the team on our screen now, Malibuca Mustache, they have a bit more freedom. They obviously have done a great deal of damage already after taking out Pink and Nas. They have this top side, they have plenty of loot. They have now the time to farm. The scan's gonna come through here for Malibuca, so they get some vision of the players in and around this area. And a really, really nice start.
Absolutely. They'll tag up a few individuals, get their story on the board. Let's see what Mini has for us now.
Yeah, we saw Mustache and Malibuca falling in the mid-game last game, but this time they're getting the damage done off spawn nice and early on. We're talking about Malibuca fighting down on the low ground of the area, the command cavern, and he's using the zip line in order to break the builds and get into these guys' box, get the elimination.
That's really nice. The chaos that can be caused via ziplines. Sometimes you see it in endgames, right? Players just absolutely destroying layers in moving zones with them. But Malibuca getting creative there. And a big, big fight that is, because both are teams that have the ability to win the whole event. And both are teams who, as far as I know, don't really want to be fighting every game, right? But there will be games like that where they are forced to have a bit of fisticuffs. But this time, Malibuca Mustache come to ones to win it out. We'll see if that continues across the next 10 games. Hen and Queasy, though, over at Sleepy. Home zone, Shayo, like he said. And a big chance for redemption.
A lot of these teams moving around right now. You might be asking at home, what's the game plan? And we saw it crumble for a few of them in the first game. Storm Surge, that's what this is all about. It's about doing as much damage as possible. If you're under the average amount of teams that you want to be alive in the lobby, lightning starts to strike you. If you're not doing your job and getting active, the server gets angry and you start to take a lot of damage, 25 every 5 seconds. Tayson and Chatpix looking for a few tags here and there. You want to deal damage or you take damage. That's basically the mid-game of Fortnite.
This is very interesting on our screens right now. Tayson and Chapix. Obviously, this is a team that lands at the Collider, right? But the biggest thing when you talk about Tayson and Chapix historically, the analyst talks about how these guys have all the experience in the world. They're two top players. This is a team that is very much accustomed to playing edge map. They want to play the dead side of the zone. And this time, this season round, landing at a central POI, I'm happy to see that they've actually decided, look, let's get up the Collider as soon as possible. Let's move up north towards this logjam area, towards the shifty area, and we can start to play the way we are accustomed to playing, not being in the center of the zone, uncongested side with all the struggling teams looking for surge, but instead trying to choose their own fates now. Very interesting adjustment from them.
It's kind of like the difference of playing a side scroller and like a 3D game completely, you know?
Yeah.
The amount of things you might not be used to. Not saying that one is even better than the other, right? It's just what you are personally accustomed to that can change the entire surge plan for them as well. Shmeki and Gavex are landing all the way towards the top right side of the map. And for them, off of like an island that's basically, you know, no one will ever visit sometimes. I feel like it might be grayed out for some people who are playing in the FNCS. They have many different stakes rolling in today.
Yeah, the Italian stallions repping for that side of Europe. Very much will have a lot of people supporting them in their corner, but again, like you said, it's going to be very difficult.
Haven't heard an engine rev too much so far. We mentioned vehicles being disabled. How do Scram and Hellfire have a vehicle right now? How do they have a Whiplash?
Well, they have a Whiplash because there's one that spawns in Greasy Grove that it looks like it's broken down, right? You'd look at it at first and be like, oh, we can't use that, right? You know, it's just some scrap parts. But if you find yourself some chonkers tires and you chuck them on, it actually does allow you to use the vehicle as a regular vehicle you would use. The big thing though is that it is low on HP to start off with, right? It's not like a max HP Whiplash. It is a bit lower. Of course, we don't have the torches to be able to get the HP back up, right? Like we did before. So a bit of a different thing there for them, but yeah, a big advantage in these games.
It's only available in Greasy. That might be a disadvantage for them soon, right? If some players are starting to get finicky off of their drop, wondering where to go, where's the only car available on the map, it might be a big target on Scram and Hellfire.
I think the big thing, though, that will stop that from happening is that 50-50 fights happen all the time at Greasy Grove. It's probably the most 50-50 POI we have in the game at times. And when it comes to 50-50s, Hellfire is that guy. He is that guy, right?
Yeah.
They have the drop maps. They've been landing here for ages. He's going to land, he's going to pick up the weapon before you, and he's going to take you out. So it will prevent teams from thinking, maybe we can contest Greasy Grove, because if you do, you will fight that team, and then definitely not a team you want to be trying to take a fight against.
Reason to sip those might have not been a 50-50 right off of spawn. Basically a 2v2 between two teams. It was a fight between two duos towards the mid game. and they lost in the last one against Trulex and Chicho, absolutely taking over their entire space. Just looking at a board game, and they lost all their pieces. It was given completely to someone else. I've never seen them lose control completely. For Thomas and Tripper, I haven't seen them enter an endgame without each other, too. I think what Thomas is trying to do right now is maybe get Tripper's card. He had to run so far away. But this time he has it, looking for that reboot.
Well, yeah, I do wonder if he does have it, because he's right next to a reboot van. Like, he could reboot. You know, we talk about how you can stay in the zone for long. The big problem is he's aware of this, you know, the team sort of nearby. And so once he starts, I think, yeah, you can see he's worried that they will start to push him once he starts to reboot. But they do look like they are sort of moving away in the bottom right. If you're looking, right, you can see the arrows sort of every time they turn around. Maybe there's that bit of worry, but they are moving away. So he should be able to get a reboot off now. And this is a chance for them to get back in the game. That was Hydra and Belusi who was potentially getting on his back.
I wish it was any other duo at Command Cavern or in the area. Hydro and Belusi, they never forget. Relentless. No matter who affects them off of spawn, even if you shoot at their builds where they're trying to just go for that revive, they get angry. They never, ever lose track of where you are.
Yeah, and you can see, right, they obviously are a Camp Cuddle team, so wrapping all the way around the command side shows their intention when it comes to rotation. I'm sure they'll be looking for Surge as well. This fight here is one that we literally just talked about when it comes to Hellfire and Scram. Positioned towards the center of the zone, below on Surge, and now having to try fight off against Astro and Michael, the Brits, as they try and find any sort of damage that they can do towards them. They can't afford to be too passive here, otherwise the lobby will not be as kind to them as maybe Astro and Michael are.
They drove all the way here in a whiplash. This is not something that Astro and Michael, the Bugle teams, the North teams are going to be used to. This is an invasive species in the form of Hellfire and Scram. They're going to be forcing these fights as well. Crucial shot for Astro to hit is going to come across as a miss. Michael will probably take swing number 2. Let's see if he can go for green. Not going to be there possible just yet. Hellfire is insane for dropping down like that on a wall that doesn't control, but he's faster than Michael for now. Open walls on all sides. This duo does not care.
He was much faster than Michael, and you can see there, they isolated the 2v1. Astro just caught on an island all on his own, and that damage is huge for their chances. It seems like they're gonna actually allow Michael to get the res maybe, but he doesn't want to. He wants to just get right back in there and start dealing blows himself. But Michael's a bit too slow there to support his teammate, and you can see the effects of it now. Astro went down. They will have a second chance at this, but after already being taken out, the confidence can't be too high.
I'm wondering why they gave him the full 10 as well. Scram now taken down from the third party. Hellfire on just wobbly feet for the moment. Needs to have a huge moment to swing in terms of a shot somewhere. Maybe just setting up a labyrinth for people to run through. Scram now in a panic. Does find the finish. Is going to get just attacked by Surge. Hellfire now going down. It's a panic on all sides. No shields to even be able to drink so far. Medmis picked up. He has the heals, but what a disaster of a fight. Greasy Grove, we talked about the importance, the vehicle as well. Take all of that into a bundle, and that's still not enough for this team to do well in game 2.
The big attraction around Greasy Grove is the fact that they have that whiplash to go out and find better positions to deal with their Surge, right? The whole point is that you can use that vehicle to get into positions quicker than anybody else and deal damage. They've not been able to do that. They've not been successful. And that might be a trend we see around them as well. A team that hasn't quite had Surge figured out so far this season. And already in game 2 showing us why that is the case. Michael and Astro way above on Surge, but what's that going to count for with Michael all alone, with a team on his wall chasing him down? He'd much rather have Astro up by his side, I'm sure. But they did well to fend themselves off against those hungry players. It's always the Danes, right? Coming in at you. Whether it's Thomas and Trippin, Scram and Hellfire, or whoever else in this lobby, there's always an angry Danishman knocking at your wall. But they survive barely.
Adrenaline has to be pumping for him right now. Quad digits on Surge, above 1,000 for him. Vito and Aqua a little bit closer to that average, 3 to 400. And they've taken out a team and found another launch pad to roll in with.
Yeah, and towards here at North Sleepy, very, very close to Queasy and Hen territory. I'm sure we'll see them.
There they are.
Right there, right? Exactly, just below them.
Where's Squeezy, though? I only see Hen.
Ooh,
we gotta start being careful with this. Second game. We're so used to both of them, right? And we're so used to Hen going down first, as you mentioned. If anything goes wrong, Queasy not making it again.
This is really tough, man. Again, these are the reigning FNCS champions. They won the duo FNCS last season. It's been a much rockier road for them. this time round. But again, 2 games in a row now where they are just splintered, not together as a duo, not together as a unit. Very worrying times if you're a Queasy and Hen fan.
I feel like I might just be dreaming for the moment. Tell me something, Levin, so I know I'm in reality. Only Levin 2K has told Shy a wager.
I can't. I don't know if this is reality. That's the problem.
You know what I mean? Like, this is just so weird. It's like I've side graded what dimension I'm in, and watching some of these teams struggle the way they are. I think Malibuca also went down in the storm about a zone and a half ago. So with all the power they had off of spawn, with all the control, they even haven't made it towards this endgame.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams who are just clearly struggling with some of these zones and the way the lobbies are playing out. Reason in the sit toss, one that many people expect to have struggles when it comes to Surge and getting into zones. You can see the materials aren't looking too hot for Reason. They do have a launch pad, and they might have to be put to use here because you can see so many teams in this area. For them to run in now would be such a difficult rotation to make. So maybe they'll wait to see if somebody else uses a pad that they can recycle to get into that zone. But if not, they'll have to burn their own. And I can promise you it's much earlier than they would have wanted to, but that is the nature of this game, the nature of this lobby. All these teams struggling for Surge, a lot of them end up going towards that congested side where there are more players to deal some damage. And then you get zones like this where you just have all these players on this zone line, all watching each other, looking left and right. Who's gonna drop it first? Who's placing that pad?
We got 25 seconds to see. Ubak Fury, once again, different flavor up inside this endgame. Weren't really fully active in the first. Tayson Chatpix, this is about setting themselves apart from the rest of the lobby. A little bit of a catch-up to play. It's about 50 to 40 points. They're 20 behind that top 5. Artur falling in the feed, and now we'll see who they get to bar back and coming into the zone.
Yeah, Kefi and Melody now. Very awkward spot there for Kefi. Maybe not realizing he couldn't place the wall there, taking some extra damage when not needed. We saw how well they did in the previous game, but this time round, things are looking a lot more difficult for them up north towards Sleepy Sound. They'll be able to get their way into the safe zone, but I don't think they're very safe.
You talk about up north near Sleepy Sound. Is there a north that even exists? I don't see anyone on that side of the map at all.
Yeah, everyone's sort of down. There's only a couple teams up towards that lighthouse side of things. Looks like 3 teams in a solo, you know. Like.
And if you don't have Surge at this point, look at Hen, 213. You're trapped in a place where there's only one team you can really fight. You have no options. And if it's a meal you don't like, you're going to be forced to eat it. If you're allergic, which I think he is, a 1v2 against Bluesy and Hydro, it just might not be possible.
Look, I've said to everybody watching the broadcast, I've said to you, Shio, many times, I've seen Hen do things I didn't think were possible in Fortnite. He's that crazy of a player. But again, when you're in these kind of situations, we saw with Malibuca last game, as a solo with so much Surge to be done, is it feasible? Is it possible?
What?
Dealing damage here in this box. The SMG coming to good use, but eventually taken out there by Belusi.
It's a struggle all around. Hen missing a few shots as a solo in a 1v1. Belusi did not have Hydro in that instant. At the same time, up top, Genesis and Vortex, we see them play so passive every time they're near this 4th, 5th zone. They're taken out in their base. Look at that right side POV. Seti Kami, they're back to doing their own business. We'll go back to them in just a second. 91 above. Usually they're super fine. They're looking really good, but the rain's lethal up here. Somehow Genesis has gone down.
The silver lining for them is that where the position in the zone shouldn't be too difficult to get to the next one. But when you got Shizo knocking on your wall like this, it's never too easy. They do brilliantly though, using his own aggression against him, catching him out of rhythm. And so now Grols as a solo, he's coming back to the FMCS to do even more damage, looking to shake up more waves. Last season did incredibly well, this time with a different teammate. But in this game, in particular, playing as a solo, didn't clear his top. That's a silly mistake that you can't afford to be making now. Didn't clear his top, gets taken out as well. Vortex and Janice will jump on that and punish him for it.
They have to move so far, though, and that launch pad is completely blocked by their own builds. Just recently got knocked. There was no one near the lighthouse at all, and everyone now has to climb back, use so many builds, so much rotation, even use a teammate if you're Tayson. Chatpix is gone.
Tayson as a solo, another game now.
How?
When he goes into the end game as a solo. All of these mighty duos being tainted right now, forced apart. But Tayson with plenty of materials, sitting in an elevated position. The clutch is on for him, but he'd much rather have Chapix with him.
I think everyone in this entire lobby would much have different circumstances. Vino and Aqua, I think the only ones comfortable with full shield. Everyone's slightly affected on all sides. Vanya hiding down on the low ground. I saw Kepi get a few eliminations. That first place team still active inside this game. Looking ready to go. Kiro going down. Somehow Janus and Vortex survived that monstrous rotation. Trulex and Chicho also looking for their chance to do whatever. It's a game of solos near second and first height, but they only have control for moments until we move.
You can see now all these players looking towards the bottom left of the screen to try and force these players out of rhythm before they look to make their rotations. Tayson now looking around maybe to see if there is a pad he can use to find an easy path to zone, dealing some really nice damage. He needs to do it with the amount of damage he is below, and finally that pad will come out, and he's trying to take names while he takes the pad as well. Needs to be careful down to such low HP. If anybody spots him, if anybody takes a shot, that will be the end. Finally able to land down, and he's going to use those hard mats to add a level of protection that is dearly needed as he heals up.
He needs one more shot to land though. 49 damage under Surge. Drox and Kovacs on the left side. He's gonna have a tough wall to crack if he wants to attack that duo. Belusi somehow still holding high ground up top. One of the duos who we thought was gonna look so good in this game. Good on Surge, good on everything. Now just 31 above. Chicho left as a solo. Moving through every single build. Gonna be tough to break past this brick. He has to be forced to use that harpoon up inside a different box. A ramp in the way. Just a burst they are to cleave a path, but he doesn't connect with anything. 12 HP down to slivers, down to nothing. He is gone.
Aqua and Vino though, this is where they want to be, up above on high ground. Aqua playing ulti height, short padding towards the front side of the zone as well. But you can see the players coming up for it. They need to make sure that they secure their high ground. It was Pico and Andrea that were looking towards it, but they need to hit the big shots, and they're forcing people away. Badil gets taken out by Vortex in the feed. Tayson still here as a solo. He's trying to do the spectacular.
Eyes up in the sky. A lot of duels have clipped wings. Past that, Tayson looking close to the ground, making sure to utilize that shell of defense that he still has left. 210 mats in his inventory. On the bottom right too, Janus and Vortex, what a struggle to stay alive up inside this game. They've stretched themselves absolutely thin. Laffy Taffy for them right now. They're looking like a candy joke, but want to just get that renutrition, a step back towards the game, take out Fury, get that Cypher. Not going to be possible. They're low on mats. 4 elims total overall, and now they're going to get splintered apart. Janus has to jump, has to do something to survive. Dive in a box, find anything, my friend. Diving deep in his zone, gets that big, nice striker, lands with it, but it's not enough. He gets taken out.
Someone came knocking on his door. He didn't have the answers. But in that bottom right, you see Malibuca Mustache. This is vintage for them. Up in the low ground, picking up eliminations. Drox will be the one taken out. Tayson finally forced back to the lobby. But Aqua and Vino still up here on high.
You are witnessing the upper echelon. These guys are singing a different tune, playing a completely different game. Everyone down on low ground. A mishmash. Desperation. Kovacs doesn't know what's beside these walls. Steady Cammy. They hear that Medmist. They have that headset glued straight into their ears, but Vettel comes down and takes them both out. Room for Kovacs to move forward. One shot, I think, took them both, and he finds Mustache as well. The beams don't stop. Lotix takes out the rest of low ground. Clown is there too. My goodness, this duo is just splintering apart the lobby. Vanya now up inside, first place, looking to just further that lead. Finds Vico. Snap aim, finds Flodak. He's still shooting. This man has the equivalent of a railgun. He does not stop and gets the Siphon 2. Looking too magnetic for the moment.
The laser beam, he couldn't miss, and now heading to the front of the zone. He did everything he needed to do in that instance, but now continuing to look. He sees Malibuca deep in the zone, but he needs to focus on his own position. There's still Clown here that could cause him some issues, and of course Aqua and Vino, but Aqua might be going down here. Clown doing big shots. Vranyak takes him out though. Aqua in the back of the zone, such low HP, and Vranyak just needs to connect with anything, and he does. Malibuca now below him, he sees him, and in this instance, a 1v1 Vranyak versus Malibuca. He's done so well up to this point. 11 eliminations. Can he take out the final player though?
Has to keep the chain going. Has got every single almost elimination in what looks to be a solo FNCS. Look at him, Malibuca, both now up towards max HP. No bills for Vanya though. Has to find just the shot. It's Malibuca who has the next piece of control, the next voice up top. But Vanya has the prediction, knows what side is the best, and finds Malibuca with 2 shots in a spray. That is just insane from Vanya.
I've never seen a player roll through an endgame with such confidence, with such goal, to walk through everybody in the lobby and say, I am that guy. Vanya came in 12 eliminations just to his name. Kami sitting in the back, absolutely astounded by what his teammate has just been able to do. Taking out Titan after Titan like it was nothing, like an arena game, Shayo.
it was just, I don't even know how to react to that one. 80% of that top 10 was just siphoned in the Vanya.
That is one of the best performances we will see across the next day or so. What a performance from Vanyak to hit so many eliminations, push his team way up into first place there. That's without a doubt, right? After doing all that, can they continue to now go and do it again?
I mean, that's just game number 2 for them overall. So many more to go with. That was also just the end game. So many things happened in that one. I need Zeke, Mini, and Reese to tell me exactly what went down.
Shy wager, 15 eliminations on the duo Vanya, just saying, all right, hop on my back here. I'm going to carry you to the Victory Royale. My goodness, this is looking like a qualifier to me. This is a finals lobby. 50 of the best duos in the world, and Vanya just rolling through.